When I think of a job with a computer, I picture like a little cubicle and like boring 9-to-5 job.
The following program is a production of the Fairfax Network in cooperation with the American Association of University Women.
Hello, I'm Mae Jemison. I served as a NASA astronaut for 6 years and flew aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour in 1992. My formal education is in chemical engineering, medicine, and believe it or not, dance. Just like every other child, I was always fascinated by the world around me. I wanted to be a scientist. When I grew up in the late 60s and early 70s, it was unusual for girls to look toward working in science fields, and computers were just coming into common use in engineering and data processing. In fact, my first introduction to computers was as a junior in high school when I learned to program in the language Fortran 4 using computer punch cards. Unfortunately, at the turn of the 21st century, even with personal computers in widespread use, it is still common for girls not to aspire to careers in technology. In a recent study of the American Association for University Women, funded by the Educational Foundation, it came to light that girls continue to be grossly underrepresented in all technology fields. So, what can we do to make girls tech savvy? Professor David Sadker has written a great deal about gender equity. With his wife Myra, he co-authored Failing at Fairness. This landmark publication documents the inequities in education for girls and boys.
Let's take a look at where this country's going. It's all about technology. It's all about computers. It's all about being technologically ahead of other nations. Well, I think we can do a lot better if we open up the genius and the creativity and the intelligence of all our people, which includes females. In the past decade, or even a couple of decades, we've made enormous progress in terms of gender equity. And people always refer to the gains, and they're real, but it's only a half full glass. In some areas, things haven't changed at all. For example, physics, 2/3 male. Engineering, 85% male. In other areas, we've actually lost ground. For example, computer science. 10 years ago, 65% of the majors in computer science were male. Today, it's 75%. We've actually lost ground. We can't be blinded by the great steps forward so that we don't see the unfinished agenda as well.
One of the documents is a text version.
Part of the unfinished agenda is to bring girls to the computer table and make them an integral part of computer culture, and to make that culture mean something to their lives.
Girls have other priorities. Guys are more computer-type people.
Throughout every phase of my career, I have used computers. They are everywhere. Chemical engineers control chemical reactions with computers while manufacturing shampoo, gasoline, and antibiotics. Exercise physiologists are using computers to understand how the human body moves to help runners run faster, dancers become more agile, and patients with knee injuries to recuperate more quickly. And on the space shuttle, computers control everything from the launch, adjusting the orbit at 17,500 miles per hour, to the robotic arm and returning to Earth. Now, you may think, what's the problem? Teenage girls are on computers all the time, messaging, emailing, word processing. But you know what? This just might be the 1990s equivalent of typing. It's important not to lose sight of the relevance of technology, especially computers, in our daily lives. What do girls think of computers and the way that they learn to use them?
Computers are a necessity because we need them.
Everybody is really into and knows what they're talking about when it comes to computers, and I'll feel like left behind or something, and I won't be able to move at quick as pace as everybody else.
I think of computers as being fun because I talk to all my friends and get in contact with people.
I think the computers are very helpful.
That the guys in my class at least are a lot more knowledgeable with computers rather than more so than the girls.
Some people say the reason that girls don't follow technology and computers is because they simply don't like it, or they have a phobia to machines, or some reason like that. Well, it's not that accidental. The culture and parents and schools send messages. We determine the content of those messages.
A lot of girls, well, it might be stereotypical, but many girls don't like to actually get into the work of building computers and actually getting their hands on and actually building their own computers.
We need to think about the message we're sending girls. Think for a moment. If your daughter can't get something to work, do you say, go ask your father or brother? Do you allow boys to dominate class and home computer time and not give it a second thought? Do you encourage girls to take advanced computer science classes? If adults are sending these messages, then adults are a big part of the problem. And as adults, we must be part of the solution. Let's look at some real-life examples of what educators are doing in a suburb of Washington, D.C. to change this. At Fairfax County Public Schools, Chantilly Academy, 1,100 juniors and seniors study careers in engineering and scientific technology. But a majority of the girls enroll in more traditional girl classes like cosmetology and dental hygiene, not computer technology.
Visitors would comment that there were fabulous facilities and programs, but where were the girls? And so just saying, well, you know, we recruit girls and they don't show up is really not very beneficial and not really doing anything to really change things.
Changing things meant creating an all-girls section of a class called computer technology. School administrators then recruited female teachers certified in hardware and operating systems who could serve as a role model to all students.
Before, I never even thought about touching the inside of the computer. I don't know. We've always had somebody else do it for us, and it was always a guy. I don't know why.
And having an all-girls class, you're able to group up, talk about it, and work it out together and figure it out together. It's a whole lot better. This class is opening up a computer, looking inside, picking parts out, putting it back together, and starting it over, and it's amazing.
Opening a computer, like most hands-on experiences, invites further exploration.
You cannot have two of the same user accounts.
This year I came in to try to learn some more about networking and being a network administrator in this class. That's where I'm at right now, just seeing how things run, seeing how to set up a network if I choose to have one at home or in an office. I just think a lot of advantages of knowing the information and learning it, and I have a drive to know, I guess.
I think that parents and teachers can encourage that process by telling the girls, yes, you can, don't give up, yes, you can. They don't ever show Britney Spears trying to remove the hard drive out of her computer, so maybe there's no glamour in it. I think it's just the way it's sold. And it has to be sold different to girls than it is to boys.
That's it. What else we need to know?
And if girls don't see girls in technology classes, we can't keep saying, well, look at all the tremendous opportunities for young women in technology, but yet you never see any in there, or at the college level also. So that's one of the major challenges, is really to get counselors to talk to young ladies and convince them to come over. I'm not an advocate of single-sex classes. I think the only way that girls are going to learn to compete is to compete. In the short term, it does very well for the girls, and I think the girls that are involved in it. But I think culturally, it really does not do well, because they will have to be out in the world and they won't be working in a single-sex world or going to school in a single-sex school most of the time. And I think they need to understand that they're going to have to be out there and compete whether they like it or not, and that's just a fact of our society.
Like Chantilly Academy, many schools are offering all-girl introductory technology classes to combat the lower ratio of girls in these programs.
On the one hand, I think single-sex schools have done some wonderful things, especially for girls and women. The research is not overwhelming because a lot of those wonderful single-sex schools are wonderful because they do the right things educationally, not because they're single-sex. They have females teaching math and science and being good role models. They have smaller classes. They have girls who can talk in class and not be interrupted. When I point out in my research that teachers talk more to boys and give boys more active attention, sometimes people jump to the conclusion, teachers are the problem. Teachers are not the problem. Teachers are the solution. What teachers need, what teachers deserve, is training, are the resources, so that they can spend time equally with all students in the classroom.
Each group will get 10 straws, 4 beads, some straight pins, 1 sheet of paper. The instructions are to make something that you can race.
They're moving like that. You guys can slant it.
Welcome to GEMS. It stands for Girls Excelling in Math and Science. It's one of many school and community-based initiatives across the country to galvanize 5th and 6th grade girls to discover how things work.
I've been a teacher for more than 25 years, and I've taught at almost every level. And I find that girls really do need to be invited to explore technology, to explore science and math, and they need to be invited more than once.
It's very good, you guys.
I got involved in educational equity issues because my daughter refused to attend a magnet school because she said math was hard. I knew math wasn't hard for her. She had good test scores and good grades, but that was her perception. So I decided I had to do something that would change that for her. I started an after-school girls math and science club at her elementary school. The exciting thing is that Julie, who's now a junior in high school, comes back to GEMS and volunteers with the club. And she even helps to suggest projects for them to do.
When it first started, we were all like, yes, my mother made me do this, but now they're all here because they want to be. The girls are still all enthusiastic about math and science. They're all here because most of the time they want to be here.
What do you guys think will make it go further?
I like coming because there's lots of fun things to do here, and you learn a lot about like science and math.
I like coming because we have a lot of activities and I like to do activities. And it's really fun with all my friends coming here.
It made me like math and science more.
In addition to school-based programs, an annual conference is held to energize girls and their parents to learn more about high-tech careers.
To me, it's very important to talk to the young girls today. And I think that there's a lot of young women who are missing out on great opportunities out there, very interesting, very rewarding career field, because for whatever reasons, if it hasn't been, they don't know the opportunities exist, they haven't been encouraged.
It's alive!
This year, as a finish to my teacher research project, I contacted as many of the original GEMS girls as I could to find out what their career plans were and what kind of classes they were taking in high school. I was very excited to find that compared to the rest of the girls in our county school system, they were taking significantly more advanced and more in quantity
of the math, science, and technology classes that we offer, particularly the especially difficult ones such as AP Calculus, Physics, and Computer Science. There has been no intervention with them related to math, science, and technology that they mentioned to me in all that time. So I do feel that our intervention in 5th and 6th grade made a difference.
And I'm a geosynchronous satellite, and I'm going to rotate with the Earth.
According to recent data from Fairfax County Public Schools, boys currently outnumber girls in every computer technology course offered at the middle or high school level. From 7th grade keyboarding up through college-level courses in computer science and network design. Boys outnumber girls 2-to-1 in computer graphics, 3-to-1 in computer science, and 9-to-1 in network design.
Oh no, are you stuck? I'm stuck. And look, what happened? You know, there's a big difference between choice and opportunity. People will say, don't you think girls should just be allowed to choose what they want to do? Well, in the long run, yes, but it should be an informed choice. When I work with preschoolers, by the time they're 3, they're already socialized into that pink aisle at Toys R Us. And they already have decided that that's what they like to play with, is Barbies. There's nothing wrong with Barbies, but I would also like them to have the opportunity to explore a lot more things. You all are figuring out how to do this, aren't you?
A technology savvy person is just a person who's willing to explore, try new things, not afraid of the new ventures out there.
The United States faces a technical labor shortage in the years to come. It is critical to realize that girls are a huge, untapped part of the talent pool. And even those students who don't pursue information technology careers will find computers impossible to avoid. Every student needs to be a lifelong learner of computer technologies to excel across the spectrum of careers. It is a doable job if we can foster girls' aspirations in computer science by sending girls messages that they belong in technology fields, improving the environment and culture in computer science classes, making the curriculum hands-on, and showing the relevance of computers in our everyday lives. Girls will be tech savvy.
Usually when the computer locks up, it's the mouse that locks up. So usually when that happens and Control-Alt-Delete doesn't work, you really just have to turn off the computer totally. And then my teacher always told us that we should wait like 2 or 3 minutes before we turn it back on after we shut it down.
And these are the skills that the girls need to know. And it's important to get them hooked early. If they learn these skills early, then they won't have a hard time as they get older or be afraid of using these programs or equipment.
I want to be able to see women at work in technology. I want to be able to see them doing things with computers so that it sort of eliminates that image that I had of, you know, cubicles and boring jobs.
By myself, I could have only gotten so far, but with the teachers and the hands-on work, I've gotten a lot farther, I guess, these 2 last years of high school.
This is like a good driving force. Like after this kind of class, you have more skills to use in the future and get the job you need.